Hello, this is Manesh Patel from Ichimoku Today is February 1st, 2015. This is our executive summary for all the global markets where we'll cover everything from North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and so forth. Okay. This is our normal disclaimer to state this is for education use only. We're not soliciting you to buy or sell any particular instrument. If you do so, you're doing that at your own risk. All the information is owned by EII Capital. You must have written permission from us to distribute or copy this information. Also, all the charts you're going to see in this video today for global markets is going to be from eSignal. Also, here's our contact information here, where you could email us at info@eiicapital.com, or you could call us at any of our office locations here, written at the very bottom. Okay. You could also go to our website, ichimokutrade.com, right here, where you could access our real-time scanner now. That gives you the ability to find multiple time frame support resistances, our email alerts, tons of free videos, and a lot of educational packages now that we also offer, especially DVDs and 1-month mentoring and so forth. Okay, so let's go straight to eSignal, and let's begin the journey of looking at these markets. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually start a little different today, and we're actually going to start in the US, and we're going to look at the Dow here. Remember, on the left hand side is the weekly time frame, on the right hand side is basically the monthly time frame. I'm going to concentrate mainly on the monthly time frame, but you could see the weekly here. You could see basically the Dow here, which is the Dow 30 stocks in the US stock market, is basically going up. It's still very, very strong. It's coming up to a major support at 16,968.50, so we believe that's going to hold there, and you can see that's also the same level here, so that's a multiple time frame support. So it's approaching that support level there. In order for this thing to start resuming, to start going back bullish, it needs to sit there and break the resistance level of 17,627. So that's the Dow. Next one's the S&P. Again, that one's also approaching a support at 1955. Is another support level there. It's at a one minor support right now, which is at 1996. If it breaks that, it'll get to the major support at 1955. The resistance to start resuming the bullish trend is going to be 2076. The NASDAQ, a little different. You can see it's a lot more stronger here, and the reason why is you really don't have a monthly support that's really strong right now, because this thing's been trending very, very powerfully. So if you look at it here, the only thing you could do is go to the weekly time frame. Its nearest support you're going to find is basically at 40.26. Resistance, in order for it to break, to start resuming, to retest the high and to break that, is going to be 42.14. Okay. Let's go over to Canada now. If you look at Canada on the monthly time frame, it's trending here too. Major support that's been holding, that it keeps on flirting around with, is 13,706. And if you look at the resistance, in order for this thing to start resuming, to retest the high, to start to break at, to start the bullish trend again, it's going to be 14,950. Mexico. If you look at Mexico, it's bullish trending, but it's consolidating here at the top. The bottom of the consolidation pattern basically is 40,068. If it breaks that, it's definitely going to engage in its first major pullback after a long time. In order for it to resume, to retest the high of this consolidation pattern, it needs to break 43,146. If it does that, it'll have a high probability of breaking that to go up. If you look at the weekly time frame, it's showing very low probability of trying to go bullish, so it's got a very high probability of getting here to 40,068 and possibly breaking that too. Okay, next one's going to be Argentina, which is here. If you look at Argentina, it's not on a monthly time frame. It shows a nice bullish trend here. Weekly is really what you need to look at, because we don't have enough data for the monthly time frame. If you look at the weekly here, it's trying to go through its major pullback. It's stuck at a minor resistance right now, which is 90.69. The major resistance, in order for this still to be in the pullback phase, is going to be 147.15. If it breaks the 74.19, then there's high probability this bullish trend is going to pretty much end, and this will probably consolidate or sit there and start tanking. So you got to really sit there and hold that support here, and it really needs to break this resistance in order to start a trend to the upside. So right now it's basically consolidating between 74.19 and 10,147. Santiago, Chile. You could see here it's bullish. It's consolidating here in the cloud, so it's consolidating basically, and you could see that from the weekly time frame. This thing, believe it or not, is still bearish here, but consolidating in this pattern, but it's still bearish tilted right now. If it could break the support here at 37.42, it could actually come down here to 35.33 and possibly resume this bearish trend to the downside. In order to start a bullish trend, it's got to break this resistance of 40.68. And Brazil for South America, if you look at it, it's really not doing anything except consolidating. The consolidation pattern now, if you look at it here, is going to be the bottom, which is the major support here at 45,062, and the resistance here at 43,992. This is approaching this support here to a point. It's got high probability of breaking it. If that breaks this within about 3 months or so, then this possibly could start a new trend to the downside and break this consolidation pattern. So be very careful trying to go long in the Brazil market at all right now. Okay, so let's go over now to Europe. Let's go over and start discussing Iceland first. Not much data on the monthly time frame, the weekly. Remember we talked about this one being bullish going into 2015. This broke the resistance right around here. Let's keep on going strong, strong, strong. This is going very high here. It's got a high probability getting to even number of 500 by the end of this year. So this is bullish trending here and is very strong. Next we're going to discuss is going to be Ireland. If you look at Ireland here, it's basically bullish trending on both the daily, weekly, and monthly time frame. It's approaching a resistance we outlined here at 78.33 very fast. It's got high probability of getting there. There's a little minor one above that too at 79.60, and it may just go to 8,002. But this is very high probability of keep on going higher and is very strong. As far as Europe is concerned. UK, this is just consolidating here, and if you look at the consolidation pattern, it's basically between 62.28 and 68.57. This thing's got about 3 more months. If it could break this resistance here in 3 months, then this is going to start a long-term trend on both the weekly and the monthly time frame. If it doesn't break in 3 months and keeps on consolidating, watch out, this thing could sit there and start coming back into the cloud here and maybe even try to go bearish, because overall this is still bullish on the monthly time frame, but it's consolidating it here at the top, but it's still tilted to the bullish side. Germany, this one's very strong because it broke the resistance at 10,015. After it broke it, it's pretty much gone up. So we began this year in 2015 in Germany breaking out of its consolidation pattern that it had here temporarily from this bullish trend here. It's approaching a resistance here at 10,880. Once it gets there, we'll assess to see exactly what's going to happen at that point based on all the Ichimoku indicators. But this is very, very strong right now. France, not as strong as Germany, and definitely stronger than UK because it's at least broken its low resistance here it had here. However, it's got to follow through now and get to this resistance value of 48.21. As long as it holds the support at 43.52, this thing still has a probability going higher and starting a major trend in both the weekly and monthly time frame. But it is weak compared to Germany, so you can do a pairs trade between Germany and France. Switzerland, if you look at Switzerland here, bullish trending here, still has not gone for a major pullback. The support here at 7,884 is holding it from doing its major pullback right now. If it could break that, then it would go for its major pullback. If not, this thing looks like it's going to consolidate here to the bullish side, where the top of the consolidation pattern is going to be 91.15. The bottom is going to be about 78.84. Now we're going to get into the Baltic, Norway, all that region over there. If you look at the Baltic here, bullish trending here, finally went for a little pullback here. Still has not gone for a major pullback at all. This level of 573 dictates whatever it's going to go for a major pullback. So right now it got to the major pullback support, didn't break it to go through its major pullback at all, and it kind of bounced off there. So this now is at a minor resistance of 610. If it could break this, this will retest the high of 640, and if it does that, that's got a very high probability of breaking that and starting a major trend back again on both the weekly and the monthly time frame. Denmark here is strong. You can see here is bullish trending on both the daily and weekly. Had a little consolidation pattern here, which you can see clearly from the weekly time frame. It broke that resistance at 772, and it's pretty much on its journey going up. Broke the 806 level, and we got to see it break it with conviction this week and follow through and try to get higher. This may actually, believe it or not, go to 1,000 by the end of the year, so we'll have to see. Finland here, it's not like the others at all. This is at a major resistance here at 83.75. So it broke it here as far as a monthly is concerned, but that could be a bleep. We got to see a follow through of this price action to keep on going up higher in order for this to see. As long as this is above the support of 79.66, this does have the ability to keep on trending to go higher. If it breaks this support, then this is going to pretty much end the bullish trend that you see here from coming here, and pretty much at that point it'll consolidate or reverse on you. Okay. This is, oh sorry, that was Finland here. This is Norway here. Norway here, bullish trending here. It's trying to go for a pullback. It can only go for a pullback if it breaks the support at 588. It's kind of stuck in a range right now between 588 and 645. If it breaks the resistance at 645, this will have a high probability to retest a high and possibly break it, not to keep on going, because the momentum on the monthly is still very strong, and the momentum will sit there and get strong on the weekly too. If it breaks the support at 588, then this thing will sit there and go for its first major pullback, which would be a bearish trend on the weekly time frame. Belgium here broke the support at 31.46, has not even looked back at all. So this is basically starting a trend, major trend on both the daily and the weekly and the monthly time frame. And this does have the high probability, believe it or not, to get this resistance here, roughly around 4,000. So this is very, very strong going forward into 2015. Sweden here is strong too. You could see it's trending on both the daily and the weekly time frame here. We've got the resistance way up here, but of course it has to conquer 16,000, a nice even number, to break that to get up to 17,014. But that's kind of where we're seeing maybe it could end up by the end of this year. Netherlands here, bullish trending too to the upside here. You could see it broke the resistance right around here and pretty much going forward here. The support it has to sit there and maintain is around 399.90. As long as it maintains that, then this is going to be bullish trending. Next resistance level is going to be 483. Okay. Now we're going to get over to Spain. If you look at Spain here, this is nice little upward movement. Looks like a bullish trend here. Now this thing went for a major pullback. The major pullback should have sat there, got to the support, and started breaking resistance. It's not. So this major pullback looks like it's turning into a consolidation pattern and could possibly break down to go bearish. The key level that it has to sit there and break to start a bearish trend is going to be 93.97 and then 90.66. So 90.66 is the key level here. If it breaks that support, this is going to start a bearish trend to the downside on the weekly, which will influence this to possibly start retesting the low here. If we could break here the support of the resistance at 10,892, it'll get back to the top of the consolidation pattern, and then maybe at that point it'll have a chance to go higher. However, the probabilities are high that it's going to come retest these supports and possibly break them moving in, going into the latter part of this year. Greece, this is one we've been basically talking about going bearish on here, and you can see why. This is breaking down to start a trend on the weekly time frame, but this broke the support at 1570. When it broke the support at 1570, this is pretty much going down here. It got to our first support level here at 1084. Once it breaks that, all it has is to do is retest this low, and then at that point it could possibly keep on going lower. So we're at our critical support right now, so we have to wait and see what's going to happen here. Resistance is going to be basically 1570. Portugal. If you look here, Portugal is just doing really nothing except the long term, except consolidating between a big wide range of, let's say at the bottom here, let's see, it's just right between 9,000 and 15,000. And you can see here on the weekly time frame, it's starting a nice little trend here. However, it kind of started doing some little ugly action here at the bottom once it got this support at 93.99. So it may sit there and consolidate a little until this thing decides what it wants to do. My guess is this thing will probably get consolidate for about 2 or 3 months, as long as it holds a resistance here at 10,711. In 2 months, this thing will have a high probability of tanking to go retest this low here and go hot lower. Italian market. If you look here, the Italian market here is really doing nothing. Had a nice little bullish trend here, then decided to go for a pullback, pulled all the way back to about 18,544, held that level. Now it's trying to go bullish. The key level, in order for it to retest the high, is it's got to sit there and break 21,463. If it breaks that, then this thing's going to keep on going higher. If it breaks the support 18,544, watch out, because this thing could start a bearish trend on the weekly time frame, which will influence the monthly too to go retest this low. Austria. If you look at Austria, this is bearish trending, but consolidating here at the bottom here. It has got a bearish tilt to it, and you can see here it's got a major resistance at 23.39. As long as it holds that resistance, this is bearish. In order to start a bearish trend again, it's got to break the support at 21.30 to pretty much go retest this low here and possibly break it to keep on going lower. Czechoslovakia Republic really not doing anything except consolidating between 832 and 1077. Hungary. You could see Hungary is starting to start a bearish trend here to the downside. It's at one minor support it can't seem to break, which is right around here at 16,000. But you can see on the monthly time frame, this is just a matter of time where this thing's trying to break down. So there's very high probability that this thing's going to sit there and break down and sit there and at least get to 14,816. 806, and possibly could break that to get to these support levels here. There's high probability by the end of 2015, believe it or not, this market can come all the way down to 10,000 here, as long as it holds its resistance at 17,474. If it breaks this resistance, then this thing's going to remain consolidating until it could break some major resistances up here, which is the 19,624. If it breaks that one, then it possibly could start a long-term bullish trend. Poland, similar to Hungary, believe it or not, just consolidating between 2093 and 2608. However, it's got a little bearish tilt right now. You could see from the weekly time frame where it's sitting there trying to start a trend. If it could break this 2215, it'll get to the next support, which is 2093, which is getting to the bottom of the consolidation pattern. So this is tilting towards getting to this bottom of this consolidation pattern with high probability, and if it gets there in a very short amount of time, believe it or not, within the next 2 or 3 months, then it does have a high probability of breaking that to start a trend to the downside. So very, very careful in trying to go bullish on that particular country. Romania, bullish trending here. You could see it on the long term, on the monthly time frame. Over here, it went for its pullback, a major pullback, but it was a weak major pullback to a point. It's very strong to a point. It came back and broke some resistances. It's trying to get to 72.31. As long as it holds the support is 67.22, it has a high probability of getting to 72.31, possibly breaking that to keep on starting the bullish trend to the top side. Slovakia. Nothing really going on there. Let's go to Russia. If you look at Russia here, came all the way to our support here, bounced off there, and you could see the weekly time frame is still very, very strong, where it's holding a minor resistance level here, right there, and this does look like it's got a high probability of getting back to 612, which then sits there and will set up the weekly time frame and the lower time frames, believe it or not, to possibly break that support to come all the way down to 462. So the probabilities are high to at least get to 612 and also to continue on to journey to 462. South Africa, if you look at South Africa, this is nice trending here. This is one no one's really talking about here. Bullish trend here, went for a pullback, major pullback, but it was minor to a point. It's still very strong. Broke the resistance last week, actually last 2 weeks ago, kind of followed through last week and starting its journey upwards here. As long as the support at 3182 holds, this is going to be in a nice bullish trend on both the weekly and the monthly time frame. Next, we're going to go over to Turkey. If you can see Turkey here, bullish trending here, consolidating here at the top, still very strong bullish, believe it or not. And you can see here that it went below the cloud here, and the cloud, it's getting higher. The peaks at the bottom are going higher, and the pivot highs are going higher. So this thing's trying to break out. First things first, it's got to go retest the high at 48.72. Once it does that, it could break through. So it's just a matter of time to see exactly what that will do. Israel, this is a nice bullish trend here, and then all of a sudden it had a big downward movement here. Believe it or not, that's not even a major pullback at all, considering how big of a movement this swing went up. On a weekly time frame, it is a major pullback. However, this pullback happened so deep, it should have sat there and hold at 46.73. Since it didn't and it went so deep here, that the chance of this resuming the bullish trend is going to be slimming down now. slimming down, and this entering a bearish trend is going to be a very, very high probability, especially within a month to 2 months. So if this thing starts to break the support here at 48.26, watch out where this could sit there and start a bearish trend here, and this will sit there and come all the way back down here to the beginning what started this bullish trend here, which is at 37.14. Now we're going to go over to the Middle East. Here's Saudi Arabia here, and you could see from the monthly time frame a nice little bullish trend here. Then you had a pullback here. It held a support here at 79.39, which is major for the bullish trend. In order for the bullish trend to resume, it's got to break this resistance at 91.90. If it breaks that, then this will retest the high here and possibly could sit there and keep on going higher. But the key thing level here is a lot of people think the Saudi Arabia market's bearish now due to this big downward movement. It's not. It did hold a support here at 79.39. As long as it holds out in the monthly time frame, this thing's still very strong bullish, believe it or not. And you can see that from the weekly time frame too, where once it breaks its resistance at 71.90, this thing can sit there and go retest the high. Dubai here, same scenario here. Bullish trending here, had a major movement down. It was a major pullback here. The major pullback is still there to a point. This is still a bullish trend, and this is still a major pullback. The key level here is this 30.43. If it breaks that, then this thing's going to start a trend to the downside on the weekly time frame, which will be basically killing the whole major pullback here for the monthly time frame. In order for it to sit there and start retesting the high, it's got to break the resistance of 40.94. It's at a minor resistance here, which it can't seem to break, but it's got all these little resistances here in order for it to break to retest the high. But it is strong to the bullish side, believe it or not. Abu Dhabi here, this is strong right now compared to Dubai, and you can see why. This really hasn't pierced through here and closed here below the support. So this is holding its major pullback level of 43.62 level very strong. In order for it to, it's at a minor resistance now. It's got to sit there and break this resistance at 45.52. If it does, it'll come back above the cloud here, and if it does, it has a high probability of retesting the high and possibly going higher. So this is still very strong, believe it or not, compared to Dubai. Bahrain, this is one didn't even get to the bottom of the cloud. It has not even gone for a major pullback at all. It's gone for a major pullback right now, but it's still minor compared to what you've been seeing in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Saudi Arabia. So this thing really, in order for it to start a major pullback, it's got to break the support at 13.93 to start a major pullback. If so, it'll at least probably get to about 13.20 for the major pullback support. In order for this thing to resume its movement up, it's got to break this resistance at 14.32. There is high probability, believe it or not, within 2 weeks, if it's just hanging around here still, that it's going to break this resistance, come up here, break that resistance, and keep on resuming to go higher. So if you've been looking for any upside potential in the Middle East, Bahrain probably could be it so far right now. Kuwait right here, you can see it's really not doing anything right now. It's consolidating right now between 1,008, and if you look at it, the top was basically around 1225, but right now this is starting to look a little more to the bearish side. This has a probability of starting a bearish trend to the downside as long as the resistance at 1098 holds. Okay, next is Oman. You can see Oman here is basically had a nice bullish trend here. It pulled back level support. It had to have hold was 62.26, didn't hold that at all. So this thing now has destroyed the bullish trend completely and just pretty much consolidating right now. Our guess is the consolidation pattern is going to be between 57.08 and 69.18. The bottom is being established. We're waiting for the top to be established. Qatar, if you look here, this is similar to Bahrain, but not quite. Didn't quite hold this 11,501 support. It actually made a little bleep below that to 11,027. So that's now the new support here. In order for it to resume to retest the high, it's got to break the resistance at 12,666. This is bullish on both the weekly and monthly time frame. Believe it or not, this is just a major pullback that's going on. It's just consolidating right now until it breaks out. If it breaks its resistance, it's going to retest the high and possibly go higher. If it breaks the support here, then the monthly is going to go for its first major pullback, which it has not seen at all for a very long time. Okay, so let's go over to China. If you go to China here, it's a nice little movement upward here, which is a bullish trend on the weekly time frame. We got very, very close to resistance we outlined at 35.83. Everything's still very strong for it to high probability get there and possibly break that to keep on going to 37.61 because the weekly time frame is not showing any signs right now of stopping its movement up. So this is still very strong. Hong Kong here, it kind of looks very ugly here, and you can see this thing's really consolidating between 18,187 and 24,971 over a long-term period. The weekly right now is bullish tilted, and right now if it breaks this resistance here at 24,971, this could sit there and start a trend to the bullish side. Korea, if you look here, this nice little upward movement, and this basically been consolidating between 231 and 272. The weekly time frame here had a chance to break down. It didn't at all. So this thing looks like it's trying to make a smaller consolidation pattern where it quite didn't get to 231, kind of fell short of it at 240. So this is kind of still consolidating right now. Japan here, bullish trending on both the daily and weekly, broke the resistance to 16,284. As long as it holds its support now, this is still going to be in a bullish trend on both the weekly and the monthly time frame. We're approaching a resistance at 18,033. If we break that, then believe it or not, we got a high probability of getting back to 20,000 for the Tokyo market, which is interesting. Next is Malaysia market here. You can see a nice bullish trend here. Major support here is 1707. If it breaks that support, we're going to go for a major pullback here on the monthly time frame. If you look at the weekly time frame, it's showing that there's high probability of breaking the support 1707 as long as we sit there and hold this resistance at 1862. This thing looks like it's consolidating, but sooner or later it's going to have a chance to actually move out of this consolidation pattern to go down lower. If this thing is just still consolidating and has broken this resistance in about 2 months, it's going to have a high probability of starting a trend to the downside. Singapore, unlike the Malaysian market here, still bullish trending here. Major support it has to hold is 55.20 here. But this, even though this is a bullish trend here, this is still an ugly bullish trend because it's a slow consolidation pattern that's slowly going up. Major support for this slow, ugly consolidation pattern to keep on going up is 55.20 right now. It has to keep on building support to go higher. So the minor support right now is 59.44. As long as that holds, has got a high probability of getting 6,300 and possibly going higher. Thailand here, nice bullish trending here on the monthly time frame. Pulled back to about 1248. Still was not a major pullback. Still very strong going up. It's sitting at a minor support level, which is at 1490. So the supports are still going up. However, it's got to break this resistance at 1604. If it could break this resistance at 1604, this thing's going to continue to trend on the monthly time frame, and it's going to be a consolidation breakout on the weekly time frame. Next is Indonesia. If you look at Indonesia here, it's bullish trending here, flirting around with its resistance here at 5247, and it looks like it's got a high probability of breaking that as long as it holds the support at 5247. Okay. Philippines here, this is bullish trending on both the weekly and the monthly time frame. It's at a minor support resistance level of 4417, and it looks like it's got trying to break that. It's got a high probability of breaking that as long as it does that within 4 months. Vietnam really not doing anything except consolidating right now. Really tight consolidation pattern between 513 and about 600. So nothing exciting going on there at all. Then we go to India. We'll go look at the Nifty market here. This is still bullish trending on both the weekly and the monthly time frame. Really didn't even engage in its pullback in January and February, which typically it does. Didn't even pull back that at all, which is interesting to see. So this thing's very, very strong. It's got a high probability of getting a 966. And believe it or not, this thing's trying to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. So it'd be interesting to see if it does, but it does have a high probability of getting to that level by the end of the year. Next is Australia here. This is just Nice bullish trend here, then consolidating here, which is basically why you have the weekly time frame ugly as ugly right now. However, the supports are going higher on this, and the resistance are kind of staying stable. So if you look here, it didn't quite get to our support level of 5100, fell short of it, kind of stopped halfway up here at about 5150, and then started to resume back up. So this is taking its journey to the top of the consolidation pattern, and believe it or not, in 2 or 3 weeks, it has a high probability of breaking this to go retest this resistance level at 58.79. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens. Next is New Zealand, still very, very strong as far as a bullish trend is concerned on both the weekly and the monthly time frame, and it looks like it's trying to go with high probability all the way up to 6,000. So we'll see exactly how far this thing does go by the end of 2015. Okay, so that concludes our bi-weekly video for the global stock markets. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys are looking to trade any of these instruments in the US side, you could sit there and trade them for ETFs. Anyone around the world, you typically could sit there and trade any of these markets at will. Okay, thank you.